Alright, so guys, it's me, Hazard back with another UFC video, and today we are back from my trip. There are going to be a whole bunch of fresh videos coming out. UFC 5 is coming out next week. I have the 3-day early access from the deluxe edition, so make sure to look out for that. I'm going to be doing my final fight night Friday, is what I'm going to be calling it, tomorrow for UFC 4. So this is the last chance you guys get to fight me on UFC 4. I'll probably have more in the future, but you know, last time during the game's life cycle. But today we are going to be discussing UFC 294, what happened to this card, and who do I think will win. On my channel we only discuss the main card, so if you want my thoughts on the prelims or the early prelims, comment down below and I'll probably respond. And if you like this video, I'm probably going to be posting a whole bunch more predictions for the big future UFC events. And also you can use the YouTube chapters feature to skip to whichever fight prediction you want to see. Without further ado, let's go into our first one. To open up the main card, we have Muin Gafurov versus Said Nurmagomedov. This card is going to be full of tongue twisters, so bear with me if I pronounce them wrong. But the favorite in this fight is, of course, Said Nurmagomedov at minus 225, and Gafurov comes in at plus 185. And my pick to win this fight is Said Nurmagomedov. I think the betting lines are correct on this one. He just seems to have the slightly better striking, and Gafurov's main game plan looks to be to wrestle in his last fights, but he does have decent striking also. But I don't think he takes Said down. I don't think it's gonna happen, and if he does, I feel like he's gonna get submitted trying to. They both have really great spinning back kicks, so there's that. But currently 0-1 in the UFC, Gafurov, I think he is going to lose this one. Alright, and in the next fight is going to be Ikram Aliskerov versus Warlley Alves. Ikram comes in at minus 600, which I think is fitting. And Warlley Alves coming in at plus 440. Ikram broke into the UFC with a nasty KO of Phil Haas. And now he is set to face a scrappy veteran in Warlley Alves, who has fought some great competition in the past. So the experience factor is definitely a thing for Alves. He actually beat Colby Covington in 2015, but he did lose to Kamaru Usman by split decision a couple fights after that. Warlley Alves has great body kicks, and he has a great guillotine, but I do not think he wins this fight. He is coming in on a month's notice, I believe, replacing Nasruddin Imavov, but I just don't think that he is going to beat Ikram Aliskerov. Ikram has nasty power. He has an even amount of KOs and subs, so he can do both. He can knock people out and he can submit them. And I think he's going to knock out Warlley Alves in the first round, I'm not going to lie. Either that or he just takes him down and absolutely submits him. But if Warlley Alves keeps his distance, which is not really his style, and lands a lot of good body kicks, then I think he can maybe beat Aliskerov. I just don't see it happening. Plus he's on a 2-fight skid, so that kind of does something. This fight is minus 600 for a reason, and I'm going to be taking Ikram Aliskerov. Alright, and for our first big fight of the evening, we have Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Ankalaev comes in at minus 355, and Walker comes in at plus 280. I think the betting lines are wrong on this one, because I can see Johnny Walker winning this. Last fight, the first couple rounds, Magomed was not looking too good. He was getting leg kicked from distance by Jan Blachowicz. He was very close to getting stopped, actually, if there were a couple more good ones landed. But he ended up being able to secure the wet blanket, as most Dagestanis do. And he even almost finished Jan in the last round. But it did go to a draw, so this division is absolutely cursed, by the way. Yuri and freaking Jamal, the 2 injuries is crazy. Plus a draw in a fight to get the actual title. I don't know, man. This division's crazy. But here we have 2 possible title contenders on fight win streaks. We have Magomed on a 9-fight win streak and Johnny Walker on a 3-fight. The only loss that Magomed has in general is a loss to the Michael Johnson of the light heavyweight division, Paul Craig. He's currently on a tear, but I was not too impressed by his performance his last fight. He seems a little flat-footed, and if Johnny Walker can stay elusive during this fight and maybe even kick him from the outside, because that seemed to work for Jan, then I think honestly he could take it by decision. I don't really see Johnny finishing him, but Johnny has the power to do it for sure. If Johnny can stuff the takedowns, since he has a 60% takedown defense, and Magomed only has a 29% takedown defense, I think that Johnny Walker could take it. But if Magomed just spams takedowns and wet blankets him the whole fight, I could see Magomed winning by decision. But I'm going to be risky with this one and call for a Johnny Walker finish or decision win. And now we have made it to the absolutely cursed section of this card. I actually thought of making this video before I left about 3 weeks ago, but thank God I didn't, because this section of the card got absolutely obliterated. Paulo Costa was initially set to fight Khamzat Chimaev, and Charles Oliveira was initially set to fight Islam Makhachev. But now we have Volk and Kamaru Usman, two absolute G's, stepping in to fight Khamzat and Islam respectively. In my honest opinion, these two stepping in on short notice is one of the best things that could happen to this card, because if these two co-main and main event fights were called off, oh man, this card would have died, honestly. So shout out to Kamaru Usman and Alexander Volkanovski, because God, they saved this card. But for the co-main event, of course, we have Khamzat Chimaev facing Kamaru Usman, and the winner of this fight gets to fight Sean Strickland? What? Absolutely insane. This fight has more stakes on it than Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev ever did. Okay, so the question is, do I think Kamaru Usman can come up on 10 days notice, 11 days notice, up a weight class against an absolute killer and beat him? I absolutely think so. Kamaru Usman has an absolutely crazy takedown defense percentage. On paper, I think it's like 96% or something insane like that. Only person to take him down officially was Leon Edwards. So I think that Khamzat's going to have a lot of trouble trying to take him down. And if he tries to strike with Kamaru, Kamaru has a much better chin than Gilbert. That's all I'm saying. And while Khamzat is obviously the much more natural 185er, the dude's absolutely massive. Kamaru Usman is gigantic too, man. He's a huge 170 pounder. Have you seen him? Jeez. I think this fight's going to be a lot more even than people think. Khamzat's coming in as a minus 255 favorite, which is kind of crazy to me because it's Kamaru Usman. I think the two Leon Edwards fights kind of muddied the waters for people with Kamaru. But I think Kamaru's underrated in this. I think he's going to take it. He might even finish Khamzat. I don't think he will, but I can see Kamaru dominating for 3 rounds, definitely. But the thing is, Kamaru doesn't have the jiu-jitsu that Burns does, so I don't know if Khamzat will respect taking down Kamaru as much as he did Gilbert, because he really didn't want to take down Gilbert. He tried to stand with him the whole time. So if Khamzat's able to take Kamaru down, and if he just ragdolls him, which would be absolutely insane sight to see, then obviously he's going to take it. But I just don't see that happening to Kamaru, man. I don't think he's going to get ragdolled. I don't think he's going to get knocked out. I think that knockout from Leon Edwards was a combination of the altitude and just Leon finding the right button, the perfect spot. So I am taking Kamaru Usman by finish within the first 2 rounds or by decision. Alright, and for our main event, the fight that everyone has been waiting for but didn't think we'd get like 2 weeks ago, is going to be Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Islam is looking to retain his title, and Volk is trying to become a double champ for the 2nd time. This fight stresses me out in multiple different ways. On the one hand, Islam is an absolute killer, and I'm scared for Volk. But on the other hand, if Volk wins, all those smug comments, all those smug Dagestani fans will just get absolutely shut up. Oh my God, that would be absolutely insane. I have absolute gigantic respect for both of these fighters. especially for Volk, who comes in on 11 days, 10 days. Oh man. But also Islam, because he's fighting a new opponent on short notice too. I feel like a lot of people forget that. I think that this fight will be much tougher for Islam than Charles Oliveira ever was. Charles has been looking like a killer lately, especially against Benil, but Volk is a different monster, especially after that title defense he got against a year. Oh my god. This fight's absolutely the toughest to call. But I think that Volkanovski can get it done within the first 3 rounds. We've seen in the 5th round of their first fight that Volk barely started catching a stride, and when he did, he knocked Islam down. Which is the first time we've seen. Never mind, we've seen Islam get knocked out. What am I talking about? But which is the first time we've seen it in like this run of his, because he's been on an absolute tear. But Volk dropped him, and freaking Islam was looking up at the clock. He looked absolutely terrified of Volk by the end of that fight, and plus his face was absolutely destroyed. So this second fight will just be 10 times more interesting, and I think Volk can get it done. And if Islam can take him down, wet blanket him, blah blah blah, I don't think he finishes Volk. There is a possibility of a knockout because it's a short notice weight cut for Volk, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But Volk is absolutely massive. I think they said something like 180, and he has to cut down to 155, which is a lot of weight. But the fact that it's at lightweight and not Volk's normal way of featherweight is gonna help him a lot, hopefully. But to all the people that think that Islam's gonna starch Volk, you think Volk stopped training? I know he had hand surgery like I think 10 weeks ago, but you think he stopped? Do you think he's just gonna be on the couch this whole time? I feel like he's been preparing for Islam, watching all the tapes. I feel like he has his number this time. Call it wishful thinking, call it whatever you want, call me delusional, blah blah blah, but I think Volk takes it. I think he's gonna destroy Islam. I hope he destroys Islam. But if not, it's going to be an Islam domination worse than the first one. So I am taking Volk by 2nd round finish. That's 2nd round knockout, right straight. I don't know. That's the wildest guess I could take, because there's so much stuff that goes into this fight that I can't even get into. I'm not even expert enough to get into, so let me know your guys' picks for UFC 294 this Saturday. It's an early card because it's Abu Dhabi, so that's gonna make it a lot more interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Am I wrong? Am I delusional? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to be uploading a lot more content just like this for the upcoming UFCs. There's so many great cards coming up this year. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. I'm going to be playing a lot of UFC 5. This is a UFC game channel, so make sure to check out my channel. And if you guys like this video, drop a sub, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.